All right, welcome to the Sharp Mind Show, episode 33. I'm Nate, the Fifth Future MD, your host. Make sure you shop at insercell.com and pick you up a cool, inspirational t shirt today. All right, well, the news is a little skimpy today, so I don't have any really news to react to, but sports is going off, right? So we're going to talk about some sports, and hopefully you enjoy it. So, number one, the Yankees top the Red Sox to reach the ALDS behind Cam Schlittler's dominance. Cam Schlittler, Cam Schlittler's, sorry, not Schlittler. Anyway, the man throws 100 miles an hour, so it looked like that when the Sox were trying to play him, right? Like it was just whiff after whiff after whiff. My man goes 8 innings, gives up 5 hits, no runs, and pretty much dominant performance by him, by Cam Schlittler. Of course, the Yankees back him up with 8 hits and 4 runs. So, the Yankees are moving on to face the top-seeded Blue Jays, which basically they have the same record. Obviously, the head-to-head must have been, whatever. Weird to say that the Blue Jays are the top seed, but, but they're going to go on and face the Blue Jays, where they're going to face, George Springer and Bo Buchette. Bobby Buchette. Anyway. So yeah, the Yankees win, pretty commanding fashion, 4-0, and no real surprise there. But they're facing Toronto, they're facing George, they're facing Bo. Who do you have winning this series? With Toronto having a home field advantage here. You got New York or you got Toronto? Let me know in the comments below. Obviously 4-0, and pitchers shutting them out, doing great. So can he do it again versus Toronto? All right, this episode is brought to you by London and the Googly Goo. Be sure to check out my wife's children's book, London and the Googly Goo, available on Amazon. If you got nephews, nieces, or children of your own, then London and the Googly Goo is your choice for a children's book. Check it out right now in the link in the description, or go check it out on Amazon. Thank you so much for the support. All right. So, of course, we got to be looking forward to the weekend of college football. And the big matchup of the weekend is Vanderbilt, which is 5-0, versus Alabama, who is not undefeated. So, does Vanderbilt improve to 6-0, beating Alabama, and jump up into the top 10, or does Bama prove that they're still the top dog after they beat Georgia last week, right? So, Diego Pavia is going to have a big game for Vanderbilt. He's going to have to throw the ball and run the ball. Looks like he's the whole show for Vanderbilt. Tight end Eli Stowers is going to have to step up and actually get in the end zone this game. But you know what? Brey Hubbard for Alabama is going to have something to say about that. The rest of that Alabama secondary. So, let me know what you think of this matchup. Who wins this game? You got Bama versus Vandy. Undefeated versus the top dog. Does Ty Simpson and Kevin Riley and Jeremy Bernard take Alabama to victory, or does Vandy prove that it's their year? All right, let me know what you think in the comments below. That's the game matchup we're looking forward to this weekend. Obviously, we got ECU versus Tulsa, but I'm not talking about that one today. But that's the big matchup of the weekend, right? So All right, let's move on to life coaching. All right, we got the digital prisoner, right? We got Jessica. We got 20. She's 25 years old. Spends 7+ hours a day on social media. She admits to feeling inspired by social media every once in a while for a few minutes, but overall drained and anxious. All right, so this is very difficult now, especially like someone like Jessica who's in. This is very difficult now, especially for someone like Jessica who's in like digital marketing, right? So not only are you spending time on social media for work, but you're actually spending time, on social media after work and stuff too. So, all the digital detox strategies are not going to work when your job is in social media, right? So, you got to think about like other ways to get inspired, and that is looking internally, and really changing what your thought process is internally, right? You're 25 years old, you're in advertising, what do you like to do outside of work is basically going to be what pushes you to, do things and not be anxious and not be drained and that kind of thing. Like, so first thing we always start with mindset, right? As far as life coaching. So, I feel like a broken record, but always start with mindset. So you always start with your mindset. And how do we change our mindset? Change your mindset by what you say to yourself, right? So that being said, you change your mind by using affirmations, right? So if you don't have affirmations, make sure to pick mine up for free in the description below. They're 100% free. But number one, you start there with your mindset, right? And then number two, we're going to work on our health, right? So you're sitting around 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day. Your health's got to be important. So I prefer to wake up early, go to the gym early, get it out of the way, and then feel better the rest of the day, right? There's nothing better to energize you than going and having a good workout, right? So I would suggest to Jessica to obviously go to work out. Every day she's going to be sitting on social media for a long time. She should be working out, right? And maybe that's overkill for most people. Most people should only go 3 times a week. I mean, I would go 7 days a week if my body would allow it, right? So you just fall in love with the process. If you don't have that, I'll also give that away for free. Workout nutrition guide. Give that away for free in the description as well if you don't have one of those. So that's number one is mindset. Number two, we're going to work on our health, right? So make sure we're as healthy as possible. And then you have to think about anxiety is usually fear of the future. When I personally had anxiety, I had something going on with my body that I could not explain what was going on with my body, right? And once I figured out and had a way to explain it, then the anxiety went away from me, right? Because, I'm literally studying the heart in medical school, and all of a sudden I'm getting GERD and having chest pains and from eating poorly, right? While I'm in medical school, sitting around all day, still eating the 3 meals a day. You don't need to eat 3 meals a day if you're sitting around all day, right? But yeah, that was what was going on with me, right? Because I was in fear of dying, having heart attack symptoms, right? Pain down the left arm. It wasn't a burn anymore, right? It was actual physical chest pain. So, and that's where anxiety comes from fear of the unknown or fear of the future, right? So obviously we work on mindset with that, but then the future part is staying in the present, right? So if you start feeling anxious, you got to start thinking about the present. So what am I doing right now? I'm typing on the computer right now. What am I doing I'm cooking right now. Like, instead of thinking about, oh, what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen the next day, like, you know that what you do today, the schedule you do today, changes that, right? It makes you where you don't have that problem anymore. You don't have to worry about the future because you've done what you're supposed to do today, right? So that's how you fix anxiety. These are the things I would do for Jessica. What else would you do for Jessica here? Obviously, she works on social media, so it's not like she can just stop doing stuff, right? So keep that in mind. And we'll move on to the last thing of the day, which is the quote of the day. And it's pressure is something you feel when you don't know what you're doing, right? And so I take this all the way back to high school. My coach had me as a closer in high school, relief pitcher in high school after my injuries. And so I remember several times I came in bases loaded, no outs, and was able to get us out of the inning. Also remember not saying I couldn't play. I had a dead arm and, going up there and throwing the cheese up there. So, just because you wanted to play, right? But my arm was dead. I was up there throwing like 40 miles an hour, and I think I still got one out, but I think it was pretty much serving it up after that. Anyway, so, but yeah, so you don't feel pressure when you've done the work to know what you're doing, right? Like, there is no pressure, there is no fear, there is no anxiety when you've done the work, right? So what do you need to do the work? That's the question, right? So we wake up early, we read for 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day on the subject we're trying to learn, right? And then you go physically do whatever you were reading about. If it's applicable to what you're doing, right? So, for me, the big secret for Elon Musk was to cut everything until it blew up. Well, I choose not to do that. I'm going to have the best, like, it wasn't applicable to my business, right? I'm going to have the best quality t-shirt. I'm going to have the best quality inks on my stuff, right? So that's why I made InstaSale.com to make quality, not cut things. I'm not going to send you with a thin little baby t-shirt. This t-shirt's going to be form fit, hugging the sleeves, making the guns look good. That's what InstaSale is going to be. So I couldn't take the advice that Elon Musk was giving in his book, right? To basically cut everything until it blew up. Same thing you did with X, right? He went into X and cut 80% of his workforce until the whole site didn't work anymore, and then said, "Okay, we'll come back." Right? So I couldn't really take that advice. So you have to be learning something of the advice that you can take, right? So one of those is to advertise, letting people know what you do. And that's what I do with this. One of the things I do with this podcast, right? I provide value with the podcast and let you know that I do own InstaSale.com, which is a cool, inspirational t-shirt company, and you should go check it out. That kind of thing. Well, I learned that, obviously I learned that a long time ago, but I put it into practice now, right? So there's no pressure in that, right? We're just here having a good time, talking about sports, talking about things that can help you, and hopefully you're getting a lot out of it, right? So this was the Sharp Mind Show, episode 33. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think. What do you still get pressure from, even though you know what you're doing? And make sure you shop at InstaSale.com, pick you up a cool inspirational t-shirt. Check out my wife's book, London and the Googly Goo, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.